Episode 21. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
I've got nothing to add to that. I was trying to think of something.
We just have a chicken dinner.
That was
We did.
100% on the fly.
We had
but it popped into my head. Like, I got blackjack. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
we did have a lot of chicken.
Yeah, it was delicious.
Both Bill and I are like, we were not prepared for that intro whatsoever.
Happy Friday.
I forgot to keep on playing my instrument.
It was that good of an intro. I threw.
I'm back at it, guys. Don't worry about it.
It's all discombobulated.
One day we'll record this intro, but that
Yeah,
is not today.
Today's not the
No,
day.
that is not
Today's the
today.
day I'm gonna crack open my beer, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe when we move into a new studio, I'm gonna pretend to crack because I'll crack later. Because I'm almost done with this one. Wait,
That's a fancy looking can you got there, Kevin. What is that?
it's some Satisfaction Double IPA by the little brewery known as No Worries out of Hamden. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they're
We literally just finished canning this.
damn right we did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we're a little delayed on the video today.
Mm-hmm.
But
For the no people that watch it.
I
as soon
wonder.
as it
I
comes
wonder if
out.
those that do watch it actually know what time we're supposed to release our videos.
dude, they're obviously like
I don't know. Ask Mike.
Yeah.
Mike.
Mike, when you watch this,
leave it in the comments.
when you watch this, can you text me and let you know what time we're supposed to drop the videos on
Yeah.
Tuesdays and Fridays? That'd be great.
For the rest of the people that are eventually going to be watching this.
Yeah,
Let us know.
Mike's gonna get the notification, and he's gonna start watching within the hour. I guarantee. I absolutely guarantee.
Dude, well, maybe sooner because
And he'll
he's so
then
late.
he'll
We're so
then
late.
comment that I just made this comment via text. This is what happens when we engage, and he starts watching.
I enjoy like when my English goes awry. I'm like, we so late.
Well, it stopped raining, so that's nice.
What are you drinking over there, Pat?
I have some Kilted Ginger.
We're getting low on that one. I think we only have like 10 or 15 cases left.
That makes me sad.
Yeah,
makes
dude,
me
it's
very
so
sad.
good. It's so good.
We drank all the low fills too, which makes it even sadder.
I mean, we didn't have that many though. It was only like a half a case lows.
Still sad.
I'm still so
Yeah.
happy that we transformed that beer. I love what it is now.
You transformed.
Was it
Yeah.
Optimus Prime or Megatron?
Megatron.
That's the sound of when he transforms to a beer, by the way.
That's fair. I got that. I totally got that.
I mean, yeah, it's true. It's like I can't argue it. That is the sound.
I made it up, so you have to deal with it.
Yeah. So Satisfaction is available for purchase at the brewery. It's on the website.
It is.
And we started canning around 9.
Yeah, by the time we actually
About
start putting in
that,
cans.
yeah, once we got
started at
settled and
7, but
everything.
we put in the cans.
within minutes of it turning 11 and people were able to come buy beer, I watched 4-packs go out of the cold room.
Yeah, I'm
It was pretty cool.
surprised, Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
especially for not
fan
being
favorite as well as an internal favorite too. So
Yeah.
for a Dippa,
Get it. Come get it.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
delicious. It's supposed to be beautiful out all weekend. So you have no reason to take a drive to Hampton, Connecticut, 2520 State Street.
Mm-hmm.
Endless shameless plugs. I love it.
It's true. I was noting yesterday how that label for the Kilted is red, shocking, and then this one was this was designed, I don't know, summer. It was designed last year at some point. But I enjoy that both those beers were sort of, this is definitely murder red if for people that aren't watching.
Murder red?
Murder. Where that one, it's got I don't know, an amber reddish, I don't know what that is.
It's kind of a purplish reddish.
Purplish red?
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
it goes from purple to red, and there's a little blend. Blurple.
Blurple.
Blurple?
I mean, I'm the only one that I only designed the background. I didn't make it. As far as I don't know what the colors actually are. I just did it
It looks
with a
pretty.
wheel. Use the color wheel, so to speak.
Did you spin the wheel?
No,
No, then
I
okay.
just clicked on it. But yeah, so I thought it was funny that it's sort of like red infused labels. But I'm a fan of both these labels right now, so I'm a fan of them.
I'm just surprised I'm drinking a double IPA. I never drink double IPAs.
Bill's gonna be drunk.
Yeah, Bill and I had this conversation while we were canning.
Yeah.
I loved, and it was right after we started selling stuff, and it's like I love to see the product moving. It's a fantastic beer. But out of all of the readily available styles, not like the weird little quirky stuff, double IPA is personally probably the style I drink the least.
Yeah, same here. It's
Yeah.
very,
Just-
very rare.
So,
that
like, I am the polar opposite of the general beer consuming public, which
Right, like
I,
double.
if you haven't figured that out from my hot takes, that's
well, obviously,
probably
based on
true.
how fast this is selling already. I mean,
He's going with a 6-ounce can of an English mild.
8 ounce. No, English mild. No, English mild to 12.
I've got a
Barley wine in an 8 ounce can though. That has appeal.
I've got a keg that mild. I haven't gotten to that yet.
All right.
Yeah, what else you got in the tanks?
Wait, I'm gonna open my other beer now.
So we got the. Aside from that English mild that we've already talked about a few times, we pulled off a half barrel size of the seltzer that's in our big tank. We're going to do a variant of. We haven't decided 100% what we're going to do yet. We have a couple ideas, but I don't want to say any of them in case they don't come to fruition.
Fair.
And other than that, we have the
Covered in
All
beer
In
now.
Together, or whatever it's called, the other half collaboration beer thing that they gave out the recipe to, and everyone is donating proceeds to charity of their choice, etc., whatever.
Towards the hospitality industry.
Hospitality, yeah. And then I have the Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
You got loud there for a minute.
Just added.
I have blood second.
That is that pepper blood orange beer that I do that people love and hate.
There we go. But yeah, that beer you just added the blood orange to, right?
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. It's ready to go in the bright tank with the peppers once
So-
the bright tank is open.
Is blood orange like you get an orange and you stab it?
Yes, exactly. That is what a blood
Perfect.
orange is.
Perfect.
I'm surprised you knew that without any research.
I mean,
You
I could use the internet, but why? When I know all the facts, is there even? I am Google. They actually have a copyright infringement on me right now.
I'm so confused.
Precisely.
This is what happens when we record on Fridays.
Yeah,
You should know that by now.
you're right. You're totally right.
Wait, where's your wah now?
Nope.
You need to put like little stickers on that so you know which is which.
That's what she said.
I also I need to record other things, so I can confirm.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Top.
All right, so I think that's all we got going on at the moment. Get into our hot take.
Well, did we talk about the cannonball too, or you did?
Oh no, I didn't mention. Oh, Cannonball.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. We have a big batch of Cannonball in the 15-barrel
prepping for cans,
fermentation. Yep, we're gonna
if you will.
can that in a few weeks. Cannonball is a pilsner, if you don't know by name.
Yeah.
I'm personally really excited to have that in cans.
Mhm.
Almost
too.
as excited as I'll be when we finally put even flow in cans.
Yeah,
hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Fucking
Yoink,
brew the
yoink.
beer, goddammit.
Yeah, we're ready to.
Yeah.
I think Monday we'll start fully laundering that, right? So we can get ready for the canning date.
Yeah, we got to drop that temperature to cold crash it and all that. Yeah.
So get that nice and
Um,
lagered up, if you will.
Yeah, when you and Jeff left to go get wings, we were debating back and forth whether we should go at 12-ounce cans or 16 on that, but we're
the
really
Pilsner?
we're really trying to get rid of those 12-ounce cans, so we're just going to go the 12-ounce cans.
That's
route.
fair.
Maybe in the
Yeah.
future we'll go 16-ounce, but we really need to.
I
Yeah,
think
we're open for that feedback from everybody, but we're leaning towards long-term 16-ounces, but we still have a few pallets of 12s that we feel like this is one of those in-between beers that can do well in either package.
Yeah, I feel like that would go fine in either or the 25-ounce crowler that we currently have available.
I love those things.
What if
It's
they make
such a cool
I
thing.
am
do they make a canning run?
I am
That would be amazing.
I am the
Ironheart.
king of fucking
Can
shameless
you?
plugs right now. Let me tell you.
Can you imagine that canning line for?
The low fills would waste so much beer.
I would throw things a hell of a lot more than I did today if I was dealing with those cans.
I pick things
Straight-
up, I put them down. Pick them
What
up, I
Bill
put
is
them
referring to is we clearly had a moment right out of I Love Lucy with the chocolate line. Shit got real. There was a little tension in the room.
Bill was a little moody, if you will.
mostly-
I was yelling at Kevin. I don't know.
If I had a
blacked out.
Snickers, I would have just given it to Bill, but I didn't have one.
I blacked out.
Stop
How are you
doing it.
arguing with me? I was just making fun of you. That's the same thing.
It was.
Anywho, so welcome to Friday, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, Bill. Let's hear this hot take of yours.
All right, hot take. How do I want to word this? All right.
With
um,
words.
Onomatopoeia.
yeah,
Pictures would
I-
not work
I
well.
will- okay. Yeah.
They would, but only
This
for
is an
my-
audio podcast too, so pictures suck. I'd be the worst. Anyway. All right. So
This is so good, by the way.
flavored beers should still taste like beer. And I had a hard time figuring out how I wanted to word that, but that works. And what I mean by that is I'll use since I make one, I'll use a chocolate peanut butter stout as an example. A beer with flavorings or adjuncts, what have you. I think the flavorings should be more of a backdrop and highlight the beer and accentuate the flavors and just kind of enhance the overall experience. It shouldn't be in your face. This tastes like a shitty peanut butter cup, and if you try hard enough, you might find and taste a beer underneath all of that mess somewhere.
What if it tastes like a really good peanut butter?
Still.
All right, so what you're saying, and
I'm just expanding.
The example here I will use is from out of state, the Onser, which is known for their juice crowlers, as they call them, Joose, which is basically a base beer that I could not tell you what it is, with stupid amounts of fruit, that they actually have a note on the ordering sheet that says, keep these under 45 degrees or they will self-destroy because of the active fermentation that will occur, basically. Where it's essentially...
That's a whole other hop take.
It's essentially a smoothie with alcohol in it. And you can't tell... I could not tell you by any sense of the word what the base of those beers is.
So, yes, that's a perfect example.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to confirm.
That is a perfect example.
So Bill wants beer, not juice.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, I don't get it, man. I mean, do you like beer or do you just like a whole shitload of sugar?
Well, all right. So I agree with you in terms of the actual take, but I will present a counter argument for it.
Gotcha.
From the brewer perspective that wants to make money and appeal to a wide audience of people, those particular items can be very appealing to a non-traditional beer drinker.
Yeah.
Like if you get the woman that walks in that is only accustomed to drinking wine, something that is super flavorful, like an overly fruited whatever style it happens to be, where you can't you can't tell that it was beer at some point. That's an appealing item for that particular client.
Yeah, that does make sense. So I think where I tend to get annoyed with it though is the more active beer drinker that is, for whatever reason, loving those beers, and then they go and they try one that is definitely a lot more well balanced from the base beer and the flavorings aspect all around. Like all those flavors just meld well together and they highlight each other. Nothing overpowers another. It's just a really, really well balanced beer. But they taste it and they're like, well, this doesn't taste like a peanut butter cup. Well, no, it's not necessarily supposed to. Like, it shouldn't be a peanut butter cup and then with a little bit of alcohol there.
Bill's getting riled up.
I am.
It's like the morning all over again.
I was just going to say that.
And I'm having a hard time finding the words for what I mean.
I'm from the natural, like the brewing part of me, like actually I'm taking this time to spend art on brewing beer. I understand and respect everything you're saying. I think if I'm saying, hey, look, I'm going to look at it from the market perspective, the customer perspective, there's sort of two things. So, like, I guess personally I'll relate it to, like, not beer for a second and, like, say baked goods. I have a pet peeve that when a baked good is just a re-baked version of something from the store, that I don't want anything to do with it. An example is, like, I've seen, like, people make, like, Oreo bars. And all they are Oreos mashed up with, like, marshmallows. And I'm like, that's just a fucking Oreo, dude. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, why waste the time to bake this? You just eat goddamn Oreos.
I'll agree with what you just said, except for one instance. And that instance is when you make the ice cream cake out of ice cream sandwiches in the pan. It's delightful.
Isn't that just eat the ice cream sandwich, though?
But you add that's the only situation of this.
Either way,
aside,
so that like if you're not looking at beer, I guess that's where how I look at some of this stuff is like that way of like at some point just eat the damn Reese's Pieces cup, as to your point with the beer.
Right.
I think, and I'm trying to think of this like more constructively a little bit rather than just the beer brewer person inside my soul. Is I think that beer and where it is somewhat evolved to this beast a little bit, and I'll try to explain myself a bit better. That Mack truck was really helping there. I don't know if it came up on the microphone, but
it might a little.
I'll
bit,
try to explain myself a little bit better. In that, if we explain, say IPAs for a second, and say, you know, like a lot of times with IPAs, like New England style specifically, like we're using these ingredients to make different fruit flavors without adding the fruit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like early on, it was, oh, we have a grapefruit IPA or we have a orange IPA or whatever it was. Now it's like it tastes like oranges or it tastes like strawberries, but it's just the hops and how we're using them. So I think that like it almost feeds into your argument in some ways of like we actually moved away from adding things to the beer to make the beer taste like this with the craft of brewing using quote unquote and traditional ingredients, not adjuncts.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't add the strawberry puree we were adding.
Right.
And you still see the fruit obviously in beers, but a lot of these New England style like beers that you're getting a berry, melon, tangerine, whatever flavor from it is coming from the hops, which is nice. I think though that created a beast where people want to be able to relate these flavors that are popping out of this beer very directly. So if you say I have a chocolate stout, you want to be drinking chocolate syrup because they're relating it back to.
No,
I'm saying they, not you, Bill.
I don't.
Same with the peanut butter. I think that
I don't though.
because the hop profile has been so pronounced and so fruit forward. I think that the expectation is, well, this is extreme, and we can do those extreme flavors through brewing, more traditionally brewing anyway, as far as using those traditional ingredients. You can't really do that by making a Reese's peanut butter cup. Like, there's no hop that tastes like peanut butter.
That's very true.
So I guess that's all. I'm not sure. I'm not standing against you by any means, but I think that's so. My point being that I think customers are expecting now this direct lineage of this tastes like this and it's in your face, and regardless of style. So if you say it has something, it better have something.
Yeah,
it better has something.
I almost wish that those style of beers maybe had their own category so you could differentiate a little bit.
Food beer.
Like this is a food beer. If that's what we'll call it for the sake of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
This is a food beer. But we do this peanut butter chocolate stout.
Right, don't call it a stout.
It's not a food beer. It is
right. Right, when it's a food beer, don't call it a stout. Just call it a dark food beer.
Yeah, and I mean, I enjoy flavored beers.
I'm gonna write BJCP tomorrow.
Food beer.
Style 29B food beer.
Subsection Y.
I think there's already a 29B, so it'll have to be like 37A or I don't know.
Anyway.
So the way I enjoy drinking those kind of beers and the way that I approach brewing them, and I approach brewing almost the way that I would cooking.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm gonna add garlic to something, I don't want to only taste garlic.
The
I don't want that to be a if I'm making some kind of sauce. I don't want it just to be liquid
right.
garlic. You want that garlic to highlight the rest of the flavors and make one great meal out of whatever things you're adding in there.
Hi, Zorro.
Hey.
We know that guy.
Yeah, we know that guy.
You're on the podcast.
You're on the podcast now. What's up? We miss you too, man. We got to play some disc golf soon. Thanks for coming by.
So anyway,
we need a camera to pan.
Yeah. So I enjoy beers and treat them more like
I love this. I actually love where this take is going, by the way.
Okay, more like cooking, where all of those different ingredients should really create one unique product. Like I said, like the peanut butter chocolate, it shouldn't just be a peanut butter chocolate. Like it should really be something really unique with the beer that's there as well. Another good example is that beer that we made with Tom M, the one that we're going to be doing for a charity with him.
That doesn't taste like his tears.
No, there's we put a lot of different crap in that beer, but
crap.
Realistically, a lot of different things in that beer. Ingredients.
Doo-doo butter. It was supposed to be cookie butter, not doo-doo butter.
Don't put it out with your boots, Ted. Tell me my business, devil woman. Anyway.
Call that shit poop.
I just watched that the other night for the first time in years.
Nice.
Anyway. So there's a lot of different things in there. We put graham cracker in there, hazelnut, vanilla. Tears.
Obviously tears.
Tom's tears, to be specific.
I taste that beer, and I really...
You get all the elements, but you still get beer.
Right. If I try hard, I can pick out those flavors individually a little bit, but realistically, they more made one really, really awesome flavor. It's definitely a totally different beer than it would be without those flavors, and I think that's the thing. Like with the food beers, you could still add those things in,
right,
and make that beer totally different than it would be without those ingredients. But for them to be so forward, and the only thing you taste is.
I think that if I'm going to relate this back really quickly, where you're going with this, I think what I like about the take is that we just changed the industry. In that, I think it is very. I like. It sort of went back still to my initial analogy. I think that so think of New England IPAs. I think a big struggle is people like this isn't what IPAs are. This isn't. So by creating a new subsect within the IPA world, people were more accepting of it. Granted, I don't even know if IPA is still the right name, but it has its own.
It's not.
But it still has its own segment within it. Like especially for the educated consumer. You're like, hey, you got a West Coast IPA. You're like, okay, well, I'm expecting a little bit more bitter, a little bit more caramel notes. You know, if I'm saying New England, you're looking more fruit forward. You're expecting more of that light citrus, if at most, with more of the fruit flavor going on. So I feel like it's this subset that doesn't exist right now. When you say, hey, I got a stout with this, it's like, well, in your head, I got a stout with this.
It's a pastry stout.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But that's not a real. But it's not a real thing.
Respect the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Okay?
I think that's what I'm saying is I wish that there was an easier way to differentiate those from other because people just.
He's so fired up, he just hit me.
I didn't mean to. I talk with my
Don't cut
hands.
him off, you mother.
My Italian's coming out here.
Hey, take it easy. Step off of my lawn.
So I have a parallel theory that relates to this.
Uh-oh.
And I kind of think it follows the same track that the majority of homebrewers would follow, but can correlate to a beer drinker as well. When most new homebrewers, they just start throwing anything they could think of to flavor the beer before they eventually work their way back to trying to brew more traditional flavored beers.
Yeah, but
And I think the beer drinker, this is these styles of beer are a way to get them in the door, and eventually their palate will evolve off of them.
People are pretty bad. I would say they're not just newbies. People are pretty passionate about these pastry or whatever you want to call them stouts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
And the super pureed gozas or sours, whatever. I mean, I think people are very passionate.
They are
about these items. So
it's almost more appropriate to call it a mixed drink than a beer.
Well, like I said, I'm not against it because I think that it does get more people involved and people are very passionate about it. But I think that the hiccup, if I'm just going to extrapolate from Bill's initial take, is just the categorization, making those expectations clear. Like if I give you a beer and you were expecting a New England style IPA, but I didn't say it was New England style, well, that's your own fault, right? So I think that within this, like if we're using the pastry stout as an example, if pastry stout was an official style that people tagged with these items, maybe you would be less upset about it because if I said, hey, it's a peanut butter stout, not a peanut butter pastry stout, then you would be like, okay, well, I'm expecting it to be a more balanced beer forward with the adjuncts within it, where if he was like, it's a peanut butter pastry stout, you're like, well, man, this is more like a peanut butter stout, not pastry stout.
That makes a lot of sense to me, actually, yeah.
Because you see a lot of that, too, in IPAs, like, oh, yeah, they say it's this, but it really doesn't taste like, it's not very whatever, whatever category they feel like it. And they could be wrong or right, it doesn't matter, but at least there's an expectation being set forth when you have that style to or to not follow, right?
Yeah, and I think, too, there's a... Hey, Ken, you're on the podcast. We're getting lots of visitors today.
Yeah, a lot of visitors for sure.
So I think that there's an art and beauty in subtlety and balance that gets.
I thought you were talking about me.
Well, no, I was talking about Ken actually.
Going home now.
No, there's a certain level of art and beauty that comes with subtlety and balance that gets lost on a lot of people. That,
I agree.
That they're not able to pick that up or appreciate that for whatever reason. It's not that they're.
Are you just upset that people don't appreciate the art of it?
I'm not sure.
Bill's got hurt.
I'm really not sure.
Well, what I've never really understood about all these things, and I guess people rave about them so much that they'll pay a little extra for them, but they're definitely costing the breweries more to make.
Oh, way more.
Oh, way more. Absolutely.
Way more.
But I mean, I don't know if cost doesn't matter. Like I said,
granted, going back to my original example, the answer. They charge
the answer is this.
No, but they charge like $20 a crowler for a 32-ounce crowler of those juice, as they call them. So, like, we're not charging $20 for any beer for 32 ounces.
Not me. Maybe we weren't. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I'm gonna go home and listen to Beyonce. She might have the answer.
I'm done with you.
So Bill's officially checked out.
Yeah, we're done. We're done with
this. So
this.
either way, I think my official stance on the take is I think there is a place for him personally. I think that I do get the fact of if you're like, hey, here's my crafted art. There's no way in a style to tell somebody that this is a beer-forward beer with adjuncts in the backdrop, where people are 9 times out of 10. I think the expectation, to your point, I think is, correct if I'm wrong. I think you're saying the expectation is this better be blowing me away with peanut butter if it says peanut butter.
Right, exactly.
When I might not be going for that. I want to have a balance. And it, like I said, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
drinking the good crazy peanut butter ones, but people love them. They're super. I mean, Alvaria makes one that people are like enamored with, and I've had it. It's fantastic. I will enjoy a sample of it. I'm not drinking a 4-pack of it. Just it's not up my alley. It's not what I would go for, but people are like lining up for that beer.
Shit be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, great for them. I mean, and I think that shows you that there is a market for it.
Oh, for
but
sure.
how do we communicate that?
Even every time that I've brewed it, the way that I do it, even that more subtle level, people love it.
But I've heard that feedback of, oh man, you could put more peanut butter. Like, well, I could, but that's not what I'm going for.
Yeah, I could, but I don't want to.
Right. So I think that it's more how do we communicate that and share like set people up for success of expectations before they get into it.
How do you easily communicate that to the consumer, like one versus the other, and what you're actually going for? I don't think there's an easy way to do that.
There is. It's called make a new subset
Well,
category.
yeah, we have to change the industry. Like
All right. I already said we changed it. Shit's been done. Next day, everyone's gonna wake up, man, what happened to the industry? It's totally been changed.
Thanks, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Anyway, any other thoughts on this bitch?
No, I want to talk about chicken wings, though.
Talk about chicken wings.
I mean, I'm pretty full of chicken wings right now.
That's because
I
we
just
had
ate
awesome
them.
chicken wings from Hard Hat Cafe.
I did.
In North
Yep.
Haven.
Yeah.
There's also one in Wallingford,
Got
actually.
the
There is
yeah.
one in
Yeah, there's a
Wallingford.
hard hat. Dose.
Dos.
It's 2.
Yes. We know that game. I have segues and shameless plugs, man. I'm just
It's
killing it
perfect.
today.
No, but dude, those were actually some of the best. We were just saying this before. Like you can pick up wings. Sometimes they get a little cold. The best part about like if you get their doob wings. I always forget what they're called, but they fry them for people who don't know, and then they barbecue them. They put them on the barbecues after they're sauced, and that smokiness. They came still super fresh, obviously, but that like because it had that barbecue vibe, it carried so well that you weren't expecting that immediate fryer crisp. It had that nice little bit of like smolderingness from the barbecue, which was fantastic. Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
That was just him thanking the chef, to be fully honest.
Yeah.
It did taste like dude wings.
It was my first time having them. I've heard lots of people talk about them, and I'll be back.
Right. And just imagine if you had them like stupid fresh. Like we had them pretty fresh, but imagine if you had them like grilled them out. You're like,
Yeah.
that's what you'd be like. By
Grill
the
them
way.
out.
Grill them out. That's a new.
GTM.
That's my new
GTM.
barbecue place. Grill them out.
Grill them out. I like it.
Anywho's it?
Yeah, that seems like a good time to do this
Yeah,
again.
I think we're all
I
set.
wasn't prepared.
I don't care if you're prepared or not.
That's what she said.
All right. Well, happy Friday, everyone. Enjoy the beautiful weekend. And
Come
keep
grab
living
some
that
beer from
Hammock
us or
life.
some local breweries. Support Connecticut beer scene, please. Yes. Good.